If you have a drum sander, I think you're going to find this tip pretty cool. Um, I build guitars and use a lot of oily woods, cocobolos, perotta, monkey pod, that kind of thing. And you know that when you use oily based woods, it loads up the sandpaper in your drum sander just phenomenally. And we all use the rubber erasers, but eventually the rubber erasers just don't clean out the grit, and you get to build up the pitch and resin buildup like you see here. You try to use the outside edges, but eventually they load up as well. And so it just gets to be, and these are expensive. I mean, this is a 1938, and I think my papers are like $6, $7 a roll. So hopefully this tip will save you some money. And that is, you can wash your sandpaper. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but you can actually wash and clean your sandpaper. This wasn't my idea. I learned it from somebody else, but I'll pass it along, and hopefully, uh, you'll get something out of this. So what you want to do is take your that's the same roll. I just took it off the drum sander. And you want this is the solvent that I use. It's a citrus-based solvent. It's just what I use for cleaning my saw blades and router bits. But it's not, anything really, really dangerous. Like I said, it's a citrus-based solvent. Get yourself a container, and just, drop your roll of sandpaper in it. Just make sure it fits in the bottom real well. You want to unroll the sandpaper a little bit. You want to make sure that, it's not really, really tight so that the solvent, encapsulates the paper and gets all around it as best it possibly can. And then you're just going to want to drop it back in the container, and then you're going to want to add the solvent, fill it up so it just basically covers the top of the sandpaper. Now, the cool thing about this tip is that we're going to use this and we're going to clean the sandpaper with it. We're going to wash it, but you don't have to throw this solvent out after you do this. Just keep the container. It's good for, I think I've used it 5 or 6 times, and it still keeps removing the pitch and resin from the paper. Um, like I said, the paper does get pretty expensive. So this is the next day. I let it sit for 24 hours. You'll see I have a wire brush there, a brass brush. I'll show you that in a minute. But you take the lid off and look inside there, and it's just black. It's black from all the resins, pitch, oils that it's removed from the paper. I haven't agitated, I didn't do anything. It's just been sitting, soaking overnight. Um, I'm gonna take it out. Now the wire brush I use, the brass brush, if in case there's something there that didn't get removed from soaking it, but historically speaking, it's always removed everything. You see a little bit of that black burning along the edge. It's flaking off with my finger, so I'm just going to take the wire brush, the brass brush, and scrub the edge of it a little bit to remove any excess. Like I said, the brass is soft enough that it doesn't hurt the grit, doesn't remove anything, doesn't wear holes in the paper. It just takes off just whatever high buildup that might be left that didn't get removed, and you can see it turning black from it's just removing more of that burn and resin and pitch from there. And I'll take a paper towel and wipe it off. Now, doing this on the bench isn't really suitable. I'm doing it right now just a small bit, just for the purpose of the camera. What I'm gonna do is take it back outside and I'll lay it out. And if there's any, heavy spots that didn't get removed, then I'll give it a quick scrub with the brush. But then you got to rinse it off really good with the hose. So you want to make sure that you get all of that solvent removed from it. But you can see as I unroll it, it's just straight out of the container. There's nothing on there. I mean, it literally took everything off that was on there. I didn't clean this before I put it in. It's just straight out of the drum the way you saw it on the camera. I'll take it outside, stretch it out, uh, wash it off, rinse it off really, really well. The water doesn't hurt the sandpaper at all. And you'll see here in a second where I've got it stretched out, right there. And you can see, I mean, that sandpaper looks brand new. I mean, it's just, like I said, brand new. Now, I've brought it in after it dried just to give you a quick look at what it looks like. And there's nothing there. I mean, it's like it just came out of the box. So quit throwing your sandpaper away and replacing it at $6 or $7 a pop. wash your sandpaper, use it again. And I'm not exactly sure how many times I can do this at a sandpaper, but hell, if it's once, it's a savings, right? So hopefully you find this of some use. Like I said, we build guitars, so we use a lot of resinous wood, oily woods, and this saves us a fair amount of money in the shop. So I hope you find some use in it. Have a good one.